So Atlassian makes collaboration tools, mostly focused on the software development market, but also for IT and for general knowledge workers that are trying to get projects done and working together with their teams. Our company is growing a lot. We are 5,000 people today. I started 9 years ago, we were just under 300 people. So it has grown a lot. The biggest stress for me is how do we continue to manage the growth without losing quality and the great employees that we have and the innovation that we have in the company. Our whole business is all about data. Particularly on the sales and marketing side, we're constantly looking at data, whether it be sales data, market data, all sorts of cuts of data. So it's super critical for us. Everything we do every day. So we test tools all the time. We're always looking for new products that work on top of our existing tool set, be it our own Jira or on top of our other marketing or CRM products that we use. Well, we have to be very careful, right? GDPR has changed our approach pretty dramatically in our customer acquisition in Europe. We had to go back out and rethink about all the contacts that we had and make sure that we can get them qualified in the right way. So it just means you have to be careful and focused, but we've done it, so it seems to be working okay. Sometimes you'll find out that your gut can be wrong. Data is amazing, but data can do two things. It can mislead you and inform you. When you get data, sometimes you need to take a separate cut at it or a third cut at it and make sure that you understand it correctly. Because I think that even though it's powerful, it can also mislead. If your gut tells you it's not right, just drill in farther. We're constantly investing in training for our employees, and that can be learning new tools, learning new processes like SAFe, Scale Agile Framework. It can be going to classes, giving them new jobs with different experiences. That's a critical part of our business. With 5,000 people that are mostly all knowledge workers, you need to make sure they're continuing to develop. Creative tasks are going to be the hardest to really replicate by machines. Not that you can't do it, but I still think people who are really good in creative areas. Software development is in many ways very creative. So many things will be replaced by AI. I think there'll be more automation in software development for certain. I think elements of sales. A lot of the email and chat conversations, more and more are already being automated. Sometimes you may notice when you're chatting with somebody that you finally figure out that it's actually a machine. So a lot of those tasks, but then when you up level, when something doesn't go right, you're always going to want to move that up to a person who will understand you. So I think there's always going to be the roles of contact with customers. There may just be fewer and different. There'll always be creative roles. There'll always be some elements of marketing roles. It'll be interesting to see. A couple things. Number one is get a lot of input from your team and from your colleagues, because you want to make sure that you're looking at the problem in the right way. Secondly is make sure you have plenty of data that allows you to look at where you really are. And thirdly, at some point you just have to make the decision and not wait too long. The decisions that where there is no turning around, you have to be very cautious with. But most decisions you make, even strategic decisions, you can slightly pivot or modify as you go forward. So it's better to move forward and then modify slightly than just wait and wait and wait. So at some point you have to make the decision and learn. I think you need to make sure you build a work environment where people can fail for the right reasons. There's a lot of bad reasons to fail, and we don't want to further those, but there's a lot of people who are trying things. We're constantly experimenting, even in the sales organization, with trying different things, and it doesn't always work. But that's how you learn. Without failure, you've not tried. The biggest thing in general for leaders is making sure that you can get people on board with what you're doing. I think this is the big difference between today and 30 years ago. Companies are not run as tops down anymore. So you need to make sure you get the rest of the people on board with what you're doing. Everybody doesn't have to have a part in that decision making, but if they're going to work against you, that's very difficult. So you want to make sure you get everybody on board with what you're doing and let them understand your rationale and then move forward. So make sure you work well with others.